up, you guys? This is Rob from A Gay Guy Plays, and today on The Daily Grind, I am covering something that I know you guys just want me to give up the ghost on. However, it is still one of my favorite things in game, and with the new addition of being able to toggle back into the old movement system or with the new movement system, so it's your choice. You get to pick which way you want to play. You knew that I had to get back into my rotation. Now, I hadn't been able to touch it for a little bit because I was so busy with everything else during the update that now, finally, as things are settling down, it's something that I can get back into. So I thought that I would give it a good old-fashioned try and let you guys in on a couple of the things that I think that you should try before you completely give up on Archwing. Now, I know that there are a lot of old players that are like, oh, I'm just bored with it. There are a lot of new players that are like, oh, it's just too hard to get into. But you know what? Hear me out. Hear me out. I've got a list of 3 things. Technically, it's 5 things, but it's really just 3 things, like if we're gonna consolidate everything. And we're gonna get started with the first, I guess, 4 or 2 things, depending on the way that you want to look at it, which is primarily, dear Lord God, try anything but the Odinata. If the Odinata is the only thing that you've tried, then you haven't gotten to experience Archwing at its best. Like, legitimately, the Odinata to me is like the most blandest of all of the Archwings, and it makes my heart sink. Now, while I love the Elytron, the 2 that I'm going to recommend and the 2 that I'm going to feature here today are the Amesha and the Itzal. If you like invisibility, then the Itzal is all for you. If you like invincibility, then the Amesha is definitely going to be right up your alley. And we'll go ahead and we'll cover the Amesha first, as well as the other thing that I want you guys to try is any weapon other than the goddamn Imperator. Again, the Imperator is just a very, very baseline, boring, bland weapon. And for anybody who had started Archwing when Archwing first came out and were like, oh, this is shit. Well, legitimately, all we had was the Imperator, the Corvus, which is shit. And I think we might have gotten the dual Decurion very soon right after that, which is also kind of shit. I mean, it's not terrible, it's just not fantastic. So I'm going to highly suggest to try out the Fluctus or the Grattler. Those 2 are really, really entertaining weapons. They're not actually my favorite weapon, but they're 2 really entertaining weapons that I think will get you excited when it comes to Archwing. So we're going to start out with the Fluctus. This thing is absolutely fantastic, and let's jump into a round. Alright, so straight out of the gate, the one thing that I love about the Amesha is basically her ultimate, and I don't know why I refer to the Amesha as a her. Feels very much like a her though, is she's basically got like built-in rage. And this thing is absolutely fantastic. Basically, you and every ally in range gets a buff that converts all incoming damage into energy, which I think is absolutely motherfucking fantastic. I love this thing so much. You can keep it on pretty much all of the time because whenever you get smacked, you go ahead and you get energy back. And at the same time, what you can do is you can hit 1 to basically make yourself motherfucking invincible. But you can also hit, I believe it's 2 to make yourself invincible. But we'll talk about that in a second. So 1 is this ward that you can actually use, and it has little spinny dots. See the little spinny dots right there? And what that actually goes and does, that shields you from freaking enemy fire. Legitimately, how much ever, whether it's like the most massive nuke in the history of nukes, or whether it's like a little dinky, you know, spray of damage, regardless of what it is, it actually just prevents that damage from coming in. I've got 13 more charges left, and I can also, if I'm fucking good, come on, this is one of the games that I like to play on the Amesha, is like, can I hit them? Can I hit them? Is legitimately, you can put this on your allies as well. So if you have any teammates or if you have any friends that you're playing with that absolutely suck, maybe they're newer, you know, maybe they're in the same place as you know, maybe they're in the same spot and they're just like, oh, I just can't get into Archwing. Maybe they die a lot, whatever it is. Maybe they're having some trouble. The Amesha is great for that. You can actually, oh, let me get him. Come on, bitch. Come on, bitch, let me get you. Oh my god, just let me. Can we do it? This is like one of those things that I obsess over. Oh my god. Oh my god, I couldn't get him. That makes me highly upset. But yeah, you can actually go ahead and use that ability on them to prevent them from dying completely. And it's nice because you know, if you don't die, there you go, I got him. See that? He's got 21 hits left. Oh, it's so good. I feel so successful. I feel like I've achieved something in my life, even though I think I might have let the enemies cap like a tower or 2 that I shouldn't have let cap. But yeah, so the Amesha is fantastic like that, but they're also fantastic like this. Because what you can do is you can drop down this orb. I believe her number 2 is kind of like this orby thing, and what it does is it takes incoming enemy damage, it basically sucks it up in a little vacuum, and it creates healing pulses. So, number 1 makes you invincible, number 2 redirects enemy damage and turns it into healing. Number 4 takes that enemy damage and turns it into energy for you and your allies. And then number 3, which this seems the most boring of all of them, but legitimately it's fucking crazy. Let me show you how cray this is, alright? Yes, I said cray. 3 just basically slows them. It just basically slows their asses to a halt. And not only does it slow their asses, okay? Not only does it slow their asses, it also prevents you from getting statuses. So, you know those blast procs that you motherfucking hate? Yeah, you ain't gotta worry about that at all. Of course it is a toggle and it is gonna drain your energy, which is a little bit of a bummer, but I mean, you can always get more from your ultimate ability. So it's like, whatever, like no big deal at all. Now, this whole time you've also been seeing me use the Fluctus, and this thing is legitimately Excalibur's Blade Waves. So if you like Excalibur and you like Blade Waves, legit, you can use this. And the cool thing about it is those shield Darjins that are a bit of a pain to kill sometimes because, you know, they got shields and you're trying to shoot them. And their shields are like, no, 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 no. But the Fluctus is like, yeah, and they are now dead because it penetrates their shields, and you guys know exactly how much I like penetration. So there's definitely some cool weapons out there aside from things like, you know, I don't even remember, the Imperator. Now the Imperator is nice and basic. But it's a little too basic to really capture people's attention. So definitely try out the Fluctus. Alright, now moving on to the Itzal. This thing is basically like the Loki of the Archwing. So of course you guys know that I'm definitely going to be loving on this. Now, its first ability is amazing for a lot of these defensive kind of missions, especially interception, because what it helps you do is get around. It lets you zip around. So as you can see, I can kind of zip past these enemies, reposition myself, and be out of their line of sight. It also helps you drop any kind of aggro that you may have. So if somebody's firing missiles or projectiles or anything like that at you, you can actually just go ahead and zip past them real quick with the first ability, which I don't even know what it's called. Is it Blink? It's probably called Blink or something along those lines. But its number 2 is also very handy when you are at like points and you're like, hey listen, leave me the fuck alone. I just don't want you to be an issue. Can you stop being an issue? And that's the Penumbra, I believe it's called. It's basically invincibility. Invisibility, sorry, wrong thing. Remember, invincibility and invisibility are two very different things. So, as you can see, it kind of allows you to just be stealthy. Just be stealthy, stealth around. You know, you don't have to deal with all these enemies chasing you and shit. You just go where you want to go. Look, they're trying to get at D. I could just zoom right on in at D. And reclaim it, I was gonna say, and prevent them from taking it, but apparently it's too late. So, next thing, you know, while you're at your points, and maybe you've been doing a lot of killing, you can, just suck in a bunch of shit. Now, I know that that's not necessarily, you know, the crux of this ability, but what you can do, position yourself, and you can just suck in a bunch of enemies. See? Look, you just suck them in, and then you can just start shooting at them. Which is a great thing. I believe it's called Cosmic Crash. I'm making this up because I don't really know names. For anybody who knows me, they know I'm really, really bad at names of abilities. I'm like, it's that thing which makes you just suck everything, right? I feel like it's descriptive enough. Now, as you can see, we dropped aggro from that blink yet again, but we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna head in with our number 4. Now, our number 4 creates a bunch of decoy drones, which basically do this cool laser thing. Which is nice because sometimes it's hard to target enemies, and having these little decoy drones kind of like pop around, it kind of helps pinpoint enemies, so you can be like, oh, there those enemies are. And what they also do is after their duration ends, or if they are destroyed, they actually explode, dealing a pretty nice chunk of damage to surrounding enemies. So let's see if I mean, we've got like 9 seconds. Should we just wait 5? No. It's dead. It's dead. Okay. Wow, this round has gone by really, really quick. I haven't even gotten to talk about the Grattler yet. See, that's how fast the Itzal allows you to get around, because of the fact that I've got so much blinky powerness. And as long as you don't overshoot your targets, you can get to the places that you need to be even faster. Let's go ahead and let's whip out those drones. And maybe if we whip them out nice and early. What was that? I saw something right there. Let's whip out these drones real quick, and hopefully we'll be able to see them explode all over the enemies. Now, speaking of explosions, I've also got the Grattler with me, and as you guys can see, it's basically, I want to call it, now I feel really bad because we just had the Tonk-Horn nerf, so I want to like call it a space grenade launcher. I've heard of things like they're flak cannon, but I don't really feel like it's a flak cannon. I feel like it just shoots shit and then the shit explodes when it's at max range, or when it makes contact with an enemy. If you can hit them. Unfortunately, I'm not the best shot all the time. But as you can see, even the shielded guys, again, because we like our penetrations, we like penetrations and explosions. Those are the things that make us happy. But what this actually does is it provides big explosions. Well, not big explosions, but explosions. You know, we're going to be realistic here, you know. I was going to say something dirty right there. But, you know, a lot of people like to overestimate their capabilities when it comes to certain unnamed things. Let's get to C. Let's capture C real fast. Oh my god, my face. My face. It's still not as bad as the old system, or as the new old system. It's new. It's the new system. But as you can see, this thing does a really... Oh, I don't want you to cap it. I don't want you to cap my D. That is my D. You leave my D out of this. And, see? Look at all the goodies that we can suck up. Look at all the goodies that we can suck up. Let's go into C. And this is why the Itzal is definitely one of the favorites among a lot of people, because you can gather loot a little bit easier when it comes to Archwing. And I know that some people have issues with gathering loot in Archwing, so this makes it easy so you can get all of your mods. So if you're just starting out, and you still need to collect some of those mods, oh, you all come here. You all come to my spot? Want to come to my spot? Didn't think so. If you're having trouble collecting loot, and you want loot, and you're loot focused, especially when it comes to Archwing, like you need all the mods and shit, then this is definitely the Archwing that I think you should check out. It's a whole lot of fun. And the Grattler is pretty gosh darn good too. It's somewhat the same, quote unquote, because it is like an automatic, it's basically an automatic grenade explosion launcher. Like you see that explosion? See those little explosions? And it's got a lot of crit to it too. So if you're fond of crit weapons, this might be right up your alley. And as you can see, again, those shield Darjans can go suck it, because explosions go past shields. Trust me. As someone who played Volt back in the day, or somebody who plays Frost knows, you stand too close to the edge of the what is it called? The snow globe or the shield. And the thing explodes on it. Get out. You get out too. You get out. Everybody get out. And that's kind of like my review on these two. These are two things that I definitely think you guys should try out. They're a lot more fun than the base Odinata and what is it called? The Imperator. I know, I'm just ragging on the Imperator. Let me just put this out there into the universe. I don't hate the Imperator, I just feel like the Imperator is like basic. Is like extremely basic and a little bit bland. Now some people like basic, and maybe that's the way that they need you to start out with Archwing, is they're like, let's not give them anything too crazy. But I know as Warframe players, we kind of like some of the crazy, right? We kind of like the explosions, we like, you know, we like the grenade launchers, we like all of the really cool, you know, there's just, the Archwing just doesn't, not all of Archwing's weapons have that rule of cool yet. And hopefully that's something they'll work on in the future. But I definitely think that the Grattler, the Itzal, and the Amesha definitely all have that rule of cool. So I think you guys should check them out. Now the last thing that I want you to check out, and this one is kind of cheating because I know I said try these two specific Archwings, yada yada yada, but there's something different about this one, alright? I want you guys to try out the Elytron, but specifically with the Afterburner mod. This is probably one of my favorite augments in game, and basically what it does is it takes Core Vent, which is this defensive, what I like to call the fart cloud ability. You basically fly out in space, and in order to create a safety zone, you make this fart cloud that kind of blocks out projectiles. I know it sounds weird, and it's gonna sound even weirder. But basically what happens is, with Afterburner, what happens is when you strike your core vent, so the core vent is your space fart basically, it will ignite your fart, and any enemies that are caught in the fart take damage, and it's kind of absolutely hilarious, and it looks really fucking cool. So I want you guys to definitely try that out, because it's definitely one of like the funner things that we have out there. Woo, the new movement system feels so freaking good, it's ridiculous. Now, as you can see, we have swapped some things up. Wah! Let me move. Oh my god. Oh my god, well, not the new movement system, but the old movement system as compared to the current movement system. Oh, it feels so good. I'm so glad to have you back. You were like my baby child. I missed you, my baby child. Oh my god, let's get to all the good places. Okay. So, let's start with this. Let's start with not Corvette, but one of the big things that I absolutely love, and I think a lot of players love when it comes to the Elytron is Thumper. So Thumper basically creates it. I think I have to like run out a little bit further for you guys to see it. But basically, what Thumper does is it creates this zone of just like AoE. So think of it as a big Hydroids. What is the thing that shoots like the sperm from the sky? The Sky Sperm ability. You know what I'm talking about. Hydroids 1. It's the one with the and it comes from the invisible Sky Sperm ship in the sky. But that's not what we're going to cover, but I did want to say that that's one of the, you know, big favorites for a lot of people when it comes to the Elytron. There's also Warhead, which is really, really hard to aim unless you're in, like, tighter quarters like here. Like, let's just explode that. So that's always fun because it makes, like, a big, crazy, you know, nuke look across the stream. Nuke look, that's terrible. But what we're here for, we're here for something specific. We're here for the space farts. And as you can see, we are going to enfold. We're going to enfold this area with space farts. Now, it looks like enemies have already ignited it or ignite it, but you can actually ignite it just with your melee. So if your melee weapon actually has, blast damage in it, you can literally just strike the cloud. You can literally just strike the cloud yourself, and it'll turn it into a fire hazard. And I'm like, ooh. Let's ignite it. See, it turns that cool, like, tealy, crazy color. And I think that's absolutely super, super fun. Because basically what you're doing is you're taking a defensive ability and then giving it this offensive twist to it, which I think is absolutely amazing. Look at that. Look at that damage. And what we're doing is we're just space farting. Legitimately. If that is not just fucking awesome and hilarious, I don't know what is. And I don't think that you have a soul if you can't enjoy the power of the space fart. Like, come on, you guys. The space fart is real. Okay, can I also mention, this is gonna sound absolutely terrible, I really, really like using the space farts, like, in these tight, like, little tubes. Because what you can do is you can literally just kind of, like, breeze past enemies. And this doesn't sound so gross, but you turn around and then you, like, whack it. And it just lights everything in the tunnel on fire. Just so many beautiful, wonderful things that you can do with space farts. Oh my god. Alrighty, so that about does it for the things that I think you really need to try in Archwing before you just give up the ghost on it. Now, for those of you wondering real quick, I wanted to go ahead and get you guys into the options menu. Scroll all the way down and you can toggle off and on Experimental Flight. Experimental Flight, I believe, is the original version. It definitely doesn't feel as floaty and is kind of like unwieldy as the more realistic version, I guess, that they were saying. Also, one thing that I think that you should try, and this is a bonus one, this is a bonus thing that I think you should definitely do, is go into your keybinds and make sure that your keybinds are working for you, because there are definitely certain things in Archwing that are bound to different things that make things a little bit different and weirder. I don't know how to explain it, but like there's an up and down elevation button that's weird that I had to rebind. So definitely check out those keybinds to see if you can make it a better experience for yourself. So that about does it for this episode. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys playing around with the new Archwing? Have you already given up the ghost? Are you done? Have you given it up? You're like, oh, I'm over it. Or are you willing to kind of play around after you kind of took a look at things today? Because there are lots of fun things to do with Archwing, and, you know, me, DK, a bunch of people from my community really enjoy it, and I want to kind of spread that love to everybody else and say, hey, if you're bored, if you want to play around with things that are not usually in the norm, this is definitely something you should try out, especially if you're a little bit newer, or if you got into Archwing early and were like, blah. Because they did introduce some fun things that I think you guys should check out. But that about does it for me today. So as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and touch yo body. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.